Okay, to really kick off this deep dive, I want to start us right at the source. This is from P.G. Sebastian's article, The Fig Leaf in the Digital Age. Just listen to this. It's quite something.
Yeah.
Their first act as fallen creatures, as individuals burdened with a private inner life, was not to repent, but to hide. They stitched together fig leaves, a feudal armor against a newfound vulnerability. It goes on. This primordial impulse to conceal, born of shame and the dread of judgment, is the phantom limb of every committed relationship. Wow. That really sets a chilling stage, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
So today we're diving into what P.G. Sebastian is really asking here. Why do we put so much energy into hiding things, even from the person we, chose to build a life with? This is a dedicated service from the Steps to Forever family, and, well, our whole mission is to bring you that clarity.
Exactly. And for anyone following the Steps to Forever ecosystem, you'll know P.G. Sebastian's work, his counseling, his writing. It's all about guiding people through the real challenges of building love that lasts.
Yeah.
He really tries to bridge insight with actual application for forever. Because, as we always say, that core principle is key. Forever should be built with clarity. So yeah, we're here to unpack his insights for you.
And the big challenge Sebastian points to is this huge paradox, right? We go into relationships craving total intimacy, wanting to be completely seen, and yet almost right away we start building these walls, the very walls that actually make that intimacy impossible.
Well, why do we do that? Why sabotage the exact thing we want most? Sebastian frames it so powerfully, he calls it the foundational crisis of modern love.
Okay.
It's the terror of being fully known and found wanting. It's not just, fear of getting caught. It's deeper. It's this existential dread that if this person, our main witness, sees the real, messy, unedited us, they'll just reject us completely.
That sounds like it goes way beyond just, keeping a small secret here and there.
Oh, absolutely. We are. And that's why this deep dive today is actually just the beginning. It's part one of a really critical 4-part exploration we're calling the Fear Project.
The Fear Project.
Yeah. We're going to map out exactly how fear fractures our marriages, how it stalls them. And today we're starting with what PG calls the architecture of concealment, how we build these hiding places.
All right, let's get into that architecture then. Because PG's work makes it clear, this isn't just simple lying. It's complex.
He literally calls it a complex psychological fortress. Built, he says, from the mortar of shame and the bricks of our earliest insecurities. So it's not just, oops, forgot to take out the trash. It's about managing our identity.
Identity management.
Yeah, protecting the self we need the world, and especially our partner, to see. We're terrified that one slip-up, one revealed flaw will just bring the whole carefully constructed image crashing down.
And what makes that threat feel so overwhelming?
Yeah.
P.G. Sebastian really highlights this dread of the permanent record, which feels so relevant now, doesn't it? That fear that admitting one financial mess-up means you're forever branded as irresponsible, or you confess doubts about your job and suddenly you're permanently weak or indecisive in your partner's eyes.
It's the terror of being frozen by one failure, defined by it.
Yeah.
And that dread, Sebastian says, is what drives this identity management. Think about a classic scenario he often uses. A partner finds a big, unexplained credit card charge, and the other partner just explodes.
Right. And we usually think, okay, the fight's about the money or maybe the secrecy.
But P.G. Sebastian argues it often goes much deeper. That explosion, it isn't just defending the purchase itself. It's defending the identity they've built, the competent provider, the trustworthy partner, the financially savvy one. So when the partner questions the charge, what the concealer hears is, you are fundamentally unreliable, or you are not who I thought you were. And because that core identity feels attacked, the reaction is huge, intense, immediate. Their whole self-worth feels like it's on the line.
And the minute that constructed identity, that facade starts to crack, the relationship itself starts to get sick. P.G. Sebastian uses this powerful metaphor. He says it's like an autoimmune disease.
That's right.
The partnership starts attacking its own intimacy.
It triggers these desperate defenses. Like the first one is projection, which is quite a psychological trick, really.
How does that work?
Well, if I'm the one hiding debt, the easiest way to lessen my own shame is to suddenly start accusing my partner of being reckless with money. Or if I'm being unfaithful, I might become intensely jealous, controlling my spouse's every move.
Wow.
Yeah. I basically dump my own insecurity, my own issues, onto my partner. It's a way to avoid looking at myself.
And if projection doesn't quite cut it, then there's blame shifting. Sebastian calls these what was it, indictments masquerading as justifications.
Exactly. That's the moment the concealer just refuses to own it.
Right.
It's the classic deflection, Designed purely to make them feel okay about what they did. I only lied because you wouldn't have understood how stressed I was. Or I had to hide how much I gambled because you would have just overreacted and left.
Oof, that's so damaging.
It's incredibly damaging because it cleverly frames the partner's expected reaction as the real problem, not the hiding itself. It puts the blame back on the person who was wronged.
Okay, so this brings us to you listening right now. Let's be honest. We've probably all been there. Rationalizing hiding something, small or maybe not so small.
Mm-hmm.
PG, Sebastian points out there's this really intense cognitive dissonance happening. You're trying to hold two completely opposite beliefs at the same time. I love this person completely, and I absolutely must hide this fundamental risky part of myself from them.
Yeah, your brain just can't comfortably hold both those things. It scrambles to create a story, a narrative, to make sense of it, to bridge that gap.
And that story, that rationalization, often sounds like you're being the, what's he called, the benevolent dictator of the truth.
Yes.
You decide what your partner can handle. You tell yourself, oh, I'm just protecting them from worry, or they'd be too hurt if they knew. But as PG points out, that's actually really condescending, isn't it?
Deeply. You're essentially saying, my partner isn't strong enough for my reality, which, puts you in this position of being the sole judge of truth, the gatekeeper.
And we can't really talk about this impulse to hide without looking outside the relationship too, right?
Yeah.
At the cultural pressures.
Absolutely not. Sebastian makes a huge point about how our modern society practically worships the sovereign self. The idea of the totally independent, successful, self-made person who never needs help.
Which puts insane pressure on the romantic partnership.
Right.
Suddenly, your spouse has to be everything. The sole audience for your perfect life performance. Best friend, therapist, cheerleader, financial guru, emotional rock.
All of it.
And when you put all that weight on one person, the fear of their judgment becomes, well, almost unbearable. Because if that one person, your main support, finds you lacking, it feels like total annihilation.
And then you layer on the gender stuff, the cultural scripts. Sebastian talks about how men are often pushed into stoicism, right?
Yeah.
Admitting you're scared about your job or feeling depressed or just afraid. It can feel like failing at that core provider-protector role. So they feel this intense pressure, like their worth depends on being unshakably strong. So they build walls.
And on the other side, women face that relentless highlight reel, especially now with social media. This pressure to be effortlessly perfect in every domain, career, home, parenting.
Oh, totally.
TG specifically mentions the deep fear women can have of being seen as the mother who isn't coping, or the wife who can't keep her husband happy and the house clean. That fear drives hiding just as much as, say, financial shame might for men.
And the end result, Sebastian says, is that our marriages can turn into these elaborate public relations campaigns. Yeah, where being real, being authentic, actually feels risky, like it'll be punished. But the performance, the perfect anniversary photo posted right after a massive fight that gets rewarded. We've all seen those posts, right?
Mm-hmm. We really have. Okay, let's talk about the cost. The cost of keeping up that performance.
Yeah.
PG Sebastian calls it the intimacy tax, and he says it's sky high. It just bleeds the relationship.
Because concealment isn't passive. He stresses this. It's an active, ongoing, and exhausting job.
Right.
Think about the mental energy it takes. Constantly monitoring yourself, remembering the lies, managing the story, avoiding certain topics.
It sounds exhausting just describing it.
It is exhausting. And all that energy should be going into connection, growth, affection. Instead, it's diverted into self-surveillance. The concealer is living in this constant low-level state of anxiety.
And that analogy PG uses about emotional capital, it's so perfect. He sees trust like a joint bank account.
Yeah.
Every lie, every hidden truth, it's a withdrawal. And you keep making withdrawals. Eventually you hit emotional bankruptcy. When the big secret finally blows up, there's just nothing left in the account. No goodwill, no trust reserves.
And maybe the saddest part, the most tragic loss, is the opportunity cost. What you could have had. Sebastian talks about how a relationship built on vulnerability can be this amazing regenerative space.
A laboratory for creativity. I like that.
A place to grow, experiment, become more together. But a relationship built on hiding, he calls it sterile, stagnant. It's just frozen.
Yeah.
It misses out on that chance for truly deep, life-changing connection.
And here's the ultimate price. We really want this to sink in for you listening. PG Sebastian argues that when you constantly hide a core part of yourself, you slowly chip away at your own soul. You end up living in a state of internal exile.
Wow. Internal exile.
Yeah. Alienated not just from your partner, but from your own true self. That's the real weight of the fig leaf. That's the heaviest cost.
And, inevitably, that whole structure, that fortress of concealment, it crumbles. It always does eventually. Sebastian points out it rarely happens with some big planned confession.
No.
No, it's usually a tiny crack, a slip of the tongue, an email left open, maybe a drunken moment of accidental honesty, and boom, the whole curated identity just shatters. Instantly.
And what's the first instinct of the person who's just been exposed? Is it relief? Surrender?
Rarely. According to Sebastian, the immediate instinct is usually to double down on those defense mechanisms. To manage the overwhelming shame, so you see denial, that's not my email. Minimization, oh, it was just a bit of harmless flirting.
And the worst one.
And the absolute most toxic move, weaponized blame shifting. Yeah, the exposed partner lashes out, well, I wouldn't have had to look for comfort somewhere else if you were more present, or I only hid the debt because you always criticize every penny I spend. Sebastian says this just inflicts a terrible second wound on the partner who's already hurt.
So the real crisis here, it's not even the secret itself, is it? Not the debt or the affair or the hidden depression.
Exactly. PG Sebastian stresses this. The true crisis is the fundamental destruction of the shared reality, the reality the couple thought they were living in together.
So the betrayed partner isn't just upset about the action.
No. They're grieving the loss of the person they thought they knew, the loss of the reality they believed in. That's the core devastation.
Okay, so how on earth do you rebuild from that kind of rubble?
Well, PG Sebastian is clear. The solution isn't some grand, dramatic gesture of apology. It's something much harder, actually. It's the terrifying practice of vulnerability.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
This sounds about right.
And crucially, he says it has to start as a unilateral act of faith. Meaning, the person who did the hiding has to be the first one to lay down their defenses, to come clean without demanding forgiveness or immediate understanding from the hurt partner.
That's huge. It's like the repair starts with them first.
Yes, taking responsibility first. And Sebastian suggests creating specific safe spaces for this. He calls them rituals of vulnerability.
Rituals? Like what?
Maybe it's a scheduled weekly check-in, or a planned time for a deeper conversation. But the key rule in that space is just to listen, to validate the feeling being expressed, the hurt, the anger, the confusion, without immediately trying to fix it, criticize it, or solve the problem. You just make the space safe enough for the truth, however uncomfortable it is.
And a huge piece of this, PG argues, is separating the person from the behavior.
Absolutely critical. The message has to shift. It can't be, you are a bad person because you did this. That just triggers more shame, more hiding.
So what should it be?
It needs to become something like, you are fundamentally a good person, someone I love who did a bad thing, and we need to understand why that happened.
That distinction. Good person, bad action.
Yeah.
That seems like it allows for real accountability, but without the toxic shame that makes people just want to run and hide again. Stitch up a brand new fig leaf.
Precisely. And Sebastian's ultimate take on partnership, it's really powerful. He says it's basically a commitment to witness and support the messy, imperfect, ongoing process of two people. Well, becoming who they are.
Not about perfection, then.
Not at all. The real promise isn't to create some flawless masterpiece together. It's simpler and harder. It's the promise not to run when the fig leaves fall away, to stay, to see the messy truth and still choose connection.
Wow. That really is the core message, isn't it? That the truly brave thing, the choice we make day after day, is to just step out from behind the trees, to trust that the person standing there with you won't turn away when they see you, really see you.
And that kind of clarity, understanding why we hide, it's so fundamental if you want to build a relationship that's actually aimed towards forever. That's the whole point of PG Sebastian's work, the whole steps to forever ecosystem. Yeah. Always remember that foundation. Forever should be built with clarity.
Absolutely. And if any of this is striking a chord with you, if you want to explore these ideas more deeply, we really encourage you to check out PG Sebastian's reflections. He shares so much practical wisdom on his Substack blog. It's also called Steps to Forever. Or you can find his writings on his counseling website, pgsebastian.com/blog.
And definitely keep in mind, this was just part 1. This was the first step in our 4-part deep dive, The Fear Project. Today, we really unpack that terror of being truly seen.
Yeah.
But this weekend, we're going even deeper. We're going to explore the specific fears that fuel all this hiding, like the fear of abandonment, the fear of being swallowed up by the relationship, fears that really eat away at trust. You seriously won't want to miss the next installment of the deep dive.